Eagles-Cowboys, we should have all assumed as the opener. Schedule release is tomorrow. This is going to be a big deal. I feel like this has become a big deal for the NFL, Ian.
Schedule release Wednesday.
Okay,
so
got
I believe it's 8 o'clock Wednesday. So I have to say, I was not 100% sure it would be Eagles-Cowboys because, like, you could play Eagles-Cowboys anytime, anywhere, and the ratings are going to be through the roof. And this year, I mean, I assume the Cowboys are going to be better. Eagles obviously are really good. Like, these are huge games. Every NFC East game is a huge game. So you don't always want to do that as the opener because sort of the opener boosts up another game. But, I mean, I guess the NFL kind of just couldn't resist. I mean, this is a spicy one. And, you know, the George Pickens thing spices it up anyway. But it's not like the Cowboys, like, needed more star power. And now they have Pickens. And we're like, okay, now they're, like, worth watching. Like, no, like, this is a big-time team. It's a big-time matchup. I always, like, I don't know. Like, I kind of love the schedule release, even though we already know the games are going to – it just makes you feel like the season's coming. This was a good way to kick it off.
Yeah, I think it's a gigantic one, especially with Shoddy's first coach, first-time head coach. First game is one that the entire world's going to expect. And I thought about tomorrow because tomorrow's NFL schedule release eve.
Sure.
Which is being celebrated at the McAfee House. So that's 100%.
Obviously.
That's 100% on me.
Presents under the tree, cookies and milk the day of the schedule release. You put them out the night before. I got you.
No, that's Christmas, brother. What are you stealing from Christmas? Jeez.
How hard do you think teams
It's beef and beer.
Jeez,
It's the same thing.
Are they going to keep sprinkling out different matchups?
Yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
tomorrow there's some internet.
Oh, yeah.
No, they always leak, remember?
Yeah, I love that.
They always, which is a good idea by them.
Love it.
And I assume McCarthy here probably had some sort of, hey, they're going to get these anyways. Why don't we just go ahead and say, hey,
Literally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you're telling us who your sources are. It's
Social
great
media
news.
teams are making last-minute adjustments tonight.
Yeah. Hey, McCarthy, you're doing it. You know it.
Oh my
This
goodness.
guy throws gas all the time.
Yeah.
This guy. Actually, a good follow on X as well. What you just have a full.
That's what Diggs just said it. I forget how the teams make those videos every year.
Oh,
And
my God.
we rank the videos.
Yeah, you're right.
That's this week.
That's a big week.
That's awesome.
Hey, digital teams.
Their Super Bowl.
You should have already had a plan.
Yeah.
Because they only get allegedly like 13 hours or something to make a video. So, like, remember when the Chargers
That's
did?
true?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did like the full anime or something because they don't want anybody to leak the schedule, so they can't send it to everybody. But they know the teams are going to send it directly to like a digital team. A digital team is like 15, 20 people, maybe 10 to 15 people in each place. So that's a lot of time to potentially leak. So they give it to them late. So the digital team has to have this idea already in the bank, basically. Remember, the Chargers did the anime one. That's why we were so impressed. We were like, you had 4 hours to do this, and they basically had it all created, and then they just had to piece
They know
it
the
together.
opponents. They just
Who's the reigning champs right now? Was it the Titans last year that kind of
that was 2 years ago that they did.
2 years ago.
The Panthers had a good one. Remember when the kid did like the nostalgia one?
The 90s one.
Rode the bike in there.
Yeah, the Broadway, the wrong emblems and stuff. That was 2 years ago.
That was great.
That's a forever classic right there.
Whoever works in the 100 versus 1 gorilla will be.
Oh, that's probably going to be a lot of them.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a lot of the schedules. Good luck out there, digital teams. We will judge you.
I'm so pumped.
This is what you're paid for.
Yeah.
This is what you're there for. And you do well here. Get a little love around the internet. That's a one-way trip to the top.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you do it bad, and people say it's terrible, remember, you can blame anybody else.
Exactly.
That's kind of the way the game works.
It's nice.
You guys everybody just blames everybody else. So you're kind of in a win-win digital team, but we would like it to be good. Okay, Rep, we know we're wasting.
Sorry, just got a text on this topic from a pretty good source. Hearing Cardinals digital team as a banger of a schedule release this year.
Okay, that'd be good news for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Cardinals potentially kind of changing the way you think about them. You know, with the moves that they made, they get Calais, they bring Calais Campbell back. I think that's a big deal. I think a lot of people in Miami were pretty bummed out about that.
Yep.
But you talk about the coaching staff, the video, you could kind of change an image with how this whole thing goes.
That's why all eyes are on Vegas. This is Tom Brady's first schedule release with his social team as an owner.
Yeah, he's got a team. He's got a social team, too.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's like his social team. Now he's got an NFL
They
team.
make really good.
And let's not even talk about Mark Davis's social team.
Oh, man.
They all got a collab there. You got a lot to work from.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll's jogging across the field in gloves right now. We'll get into the OTAs. Anyway, shout out to the Cardinals. Hey, good luck, social.
Good luck.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
Really hyped up right now. Better live up to it.
I'm excited for Arizona all of a sudden.
And Bills, I heard Bills got a big one too. So anyway,
Always.
I'm not going to spoil.
We'll see.
Not going to spoil.
Okay.
This will be good.
The Bills are doing the whole brain
Who's got a
rot
bad
thing.
one?
It sucks.
Yeah, that's a good question, AJ.
Yeah, who's got a bad one, Ian? Who are you hearing is going to just mail it in and do a terrible one?
Kind of shit the bed.
No.
Yeah.
So you can the retweets will tell the story.
Yes, they will.
Like whoever gets the least internet action, that's what it's. I mean, that's the prize, right? So like, now
What if they pay for it? What if they pay for some interaction?
Boom.
Oh no, not cool. That's not cool.
Teams
Well,
don't
yeah,
do
but
that.
someone's going to do it. I
You're
mean, they
telling
can do
me?
it still.
You're telling me?
Teams don't do that.
We know
You know,
one team.
Like
that won't.
juicing it.
If your job just rides on it, if your job, that's like what you're being judged on, yeah, it could happen.
The way X works now, if you pay for an ad, you could potentially see a 40 million number on your thing. I'll be scrolling and I'll see some regular ass looking tweet.
Yep.
And I'm like, how'd this tweet get into my life? And then you see like tiny little ad at the
Those are
top
the
of
worst.
it. And then you see the number that is on it. And then you see the actual action on it. And it's like, oh, so you can literally just pay to get a massive number. Some teams should do that. Some teams should absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I would
Like egregiously. Make it like.
make it obnoxious.
Yeah, 250 million views.
Yeah, like if you're gonna do it, you gotta
go all the way.
Yeah, you gotta really, you gotta really go all in. That'd be gimmicking the internet, which is all they're trying to do.
Exactly.
Is gimmick the internet. Okay, enough about the social teams. Wednesday night, we'll judge you. Do it good too, so we can have a good time because it's kind of the NFL offseason. We need something. So you guys crushing it is helping all of us out. You're helping the sport out. You're helping the league out. And in the end, inevitably, you don't want to say this because you don't want to be selfish. It helps you out as well to do a good job. Even if in the meantime you can do this, doing a good job is good in the end for you. All right, let's bounce around the NFL a little bit. D-Bud has a question for you.
We'll get into the rookie OTAs a little bit later with some highlights. One guy we won't see on those highlights, Shedeur Sanders out there in Cincinnati, hasn't signed his rookie deal yet, obviously, but isn't participating in the on-field activities. Is this big news, small news, something we'll just move past? What's going on there in Cincy?
Definitely small news, but also kind of odd news because there's a lot of rookies that have not signed. I think by now it's more than half. I think around half of the first-round picks have not signed, whatever the number is, and they're all participating. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
That's Ginger and
Everything's fine.
Hey, what's up, Mom? See, maybe had the mocktail. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, we're all good. We're back. No, it's like usually you sign like a sort of contract that like a little something that says you're covered in case of injury before you sign your rookie deal because these are all guaranteed. You're getting it anyway. I've never really seen this before where a rookie is not participating because they haven't signed. I'm sure it'll be worked out sooner rather than later. It's just a little weird, and like Shedeur Sanders will be fine, but you're kind of just missing those reps, and I'm not sure for what.
I think Bosa did it right, AJ, if I remember.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if someone. Yeah, I would assume he did actually.
Yeah, I think because that was like the beginning of like.
Are the Bengals doing something though?
But that was
Ian,
over
are the
like a
Bengals
real
doing something
issue.
weird though?
Yeah, that's a good question too.
What are the Bengals
That
doing?
was
What are they
over-
trying to do in their contract that he is
Hey,
not?
let's all talk
he is
right
not
now.
signed.
Let's
The
all
other
talk
teams
right now.
are.
Let's all talk right now.
What about
Let's all talk right now. Let's all talk right now. Okay, let's reset. AJ, what'd you say again? Because this is a good question.
That was a nice little. I like what we did there. But are the Bengals doing something? Are they trying to ask something out of this contract that other teams may not be asking rookies to do?
I don't believe so, and I have not heard that they are. I'll dig more into it, but like the issues we've had, which were like Bosa, and then Roquan, I believe, were over like one was signing bonus when it was going to be paid, either in like March or in September or something like that. And then the other was offset language. These are issues that were important to the players at the time, but overall not something that will be life-changing. I'd be surprised if there was anything here that the Bengals are trying to do that would kind of sabotage this. I don't think so.
Okay, let's stay with the Cincinnati Bengals. Massive chatter. And our show obviously feels associated with it because the program was the place that kind of found out in real time alongside everybody else while we're chatting with them. Like, oh, the Bengals and Trey, interesting spot. Tone has a question for you, Rab.
Yeah, I do, Ian. I'm not sure if you know this or not because you weren't working. You were at lunch with your mom. But Trey Hendrickson filed a statement with ESPN saying there's been no communication between his camp and the team since the draft basically. Do you know anything about this since you were at lunch, or should we call somebody? Should we call Shefty?
Jeez, what the? You did not deserve that rap. Thank you for taking time out of your Monday. Jeez, Louise.
He knows I'm kidding. He knows I'm kidding.
You can call any other reporter you would like, but I'm happy you're talking to me.
No, we are lucky you are here. Sorry about that.
He knows I'm kidding.
With that being said, Schefter did break that here since we've been live, so that is. I think that was maybe submitted, but nonetheless, it says statement to ESPN. Trey Hendrickson doesn't do that a lot, right? That's why him coming on our show to say anything is like, I think was a kind of a different ordeal than ever before. That's not like his style. He doesn't love that type of thing. J.J. Watt has responded to Schefter's tweet and basically gave away what the game is sometimes for players in businesses and teams whenever they are trying to negotiate a deal. They'll say, hey, next offseason we'll take care of you. We'll make this thing happen. Then basically you have a year. That next offseason comes. They either lowball you or crickets is what J.J. Watt. Here it is. Last offseason. We don't want to do a deal now, but we'll make you right next offseason. Okay? And we'll get it done early. Now remember, they've done a lot of other deals right now. J.J. Watt is just hypothesizing about a potential situation that could have happened maybe from his own experience or maybe somebody else that he knows. And then whenever the time comes for it, it's either not a good offer, lowball offer, he said, or crickets. Trey Hendrickson basically told us that there was really no communication. Like this was just like a, hey, this is what you can get. And then I believe the ownership, Miss Blackburn, she said something about like sometimes these players just need to be happy and thankful with where their offer is or something along those lines. What the hell is going on with Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals? And if this was going to end up with him being traded, why haven't they already done that? Maybe before the draft. What do you think and why do you think this is all happening, Rap, from where your point of view is?
Let me go to the last part first. I believe that you're correct. If the Bengals were going to trade him, it probably would have happened already. Not that trades can happen after the draft. We literally saw one last week, a huge trade last week. But generally, trades either happen before the draft or like around cutdown day when there's literally no other time to get something done and a team says, this is not going to happen, let's just trade you. So Trey Hendrickson is right. While there's been some communication between him and the team, there hasn't been contract communication, which is the only important kind of communication. Not the only important, but that's the good stuff, right? That's what you want. You want negotiations, you want offers, you want real stuff. That has not happened. But my belief, and let me say this first, I understand why he's upset. I do. There's no real deadline now. There's nothing to force a team to do anything. There's not mandatory minicamp where he's going to show up or not. There's nothing. So he wants a deal, but the team hasn't shown the urgency that he wants. And he deserves a raise. He is awesome, and he deserves more money. I believe they're going to give it to him. It just hasn't happened yet, and they just haven't struck the right deal yet. You know, the Bengals are just a little bit more of a methodical organization than a lot of teams. And we saw how long it took for them to do, the Jamar and T deal. I understand he's mad. I empathize with him being mad. But I do believe they're going to pay him properly and then eventually get this done. And he'll be on the field, rich and happy.
So is that you sending a message from the Bengals to Trey Hendrickson, or is that just you hypothesizing from what you've heard?
No.
Because Trey Hendrickson, hearing you say that you do believe the Bengals are going to get a deal done with him and move forward, I think that's probably a big deal because I think Trey Hendrickson's big problem is we haven't heard anything. Right. Like they haven't even really engaged.
Like a negotiation tactic?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are they trying to hold him out?
Yeah,
trying to freeze him out a little bit?
Is Rap Sheet the one that's supposed to get it out there hey, don't worry, tell everybody we're going to, get this done.
Spreading.
Exactly. But really, they're not going to do it. But Rap Sheet's the one saying that, making these lies up.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. See, this is what we need to know. What is the context of what you're saying?
Good question. Good question. So what me saying that is from the conversations I've had with the Bengals sources in the past, not today.
Got it.
I didn't see the statement reach out. Okay, what now? So this was sort of in the past. I know they like him, they believe in him, they value him, all of that. I do believe the deal gets done. This is me kind of taking all that and saying here's where I heard that, AJ. Here's where it's eventually going to happen. But this is not me sending a message because the message would really be it's going to happen eventually. But if you're Trey Hendrickson, you're okay, well, come on, thanks, so no message could do anything stronger than an actual extension offer would do. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. That's the best way to talk, especially if you value and because that's what that means, and love a guy, and that was where, there was certainly whatever the case, the Bengals probably have 1,000 things going on in their world. They obviously did with Jamar and T and everything like that. That's big money. That's obviously a massive piece of importance. But all Trey's thinking about is his family and that's all that he's trying to figure out. He's trying to figure out what the future, because that's all he's thinking about is himself and his situation. And obviously he's even come out and said, like, we hope the Bengals, he loves Cincinnati, he loves the Bengals, very proud of everything he's done. I think he even said, like, if it would help the Bengals to trade me and so they don't feel obligated to have to pay me. I think that was like his original thing.
Yeah.
Is because
I don't think he feels like that anymore.
You think he's past that?
He's past that shit. And then we know as vets, look, you obviously what's going on in your negotiations, but you watch the draft too. So you got the first round, you draft Shamar.
He's holding out.
And now he's holding out.
He's holding out.
He's holding out, but we assume that'll get figured out sooner or later. But I mean, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Hubbard retires, like, let's figure this out, or let me move on, send me to Indy.
Good luck to the Bengals figuring it all out.
Good luck.
Trey feels like Trey just wants a little communication.
Yeah.
That's all. That is all Trey is looking for. Con Man has a question for you, Rapshi.
Yeah, Rapshi, you're plugged into New England. Right now, there's clips of Mike Vrabel working with the rookies, and he's putting the pad on. He's kind of getting physical with some of these rookies. Is this normal? Does this happen around the league? And what do you think people in the league think about this? I assume some coaches might see this and say, you know what, I gotta step up kind of my alphaness if I want to be able to hang with Mike Vrabel this year.
Well, if we're gonna have like an alpha battle, there's Vrabel. I mean, there's a couple. You got Campbell, you got Tomlin. I mean, there's a lot of ways to win. But different style. Different style. But D'Amico was a badass player. I mean, it's a long time ago, so people don't probably remember. He was a.
I bet D'Amico's studying a little bit.
Yeah,
at practice.
He's in the trenches,
definitely
for sure.
MCDC's doing up downs with him. So I wonder if he's doing that drill right there is a punt protection drill too. So that is for the first time.
All right.
For the first time in these guys' careers ever in football, everywhere they have been the superstar on their football team. So playing on special teams has never, ever been something where they've been broached. Now, there are college coaches who have started putting their starters on special teams because of this reason right here. So these guys who have always been the studs are basically depending upon playing special teams for their future of football. Like, if you can't block for a punt happening here, you're probably not going to make the team. That guy's probably been the best player on his team, both sides of the football, for like his entire life. And now it's like, hey, if you can't, so you got to go backwards down a straight line, and then you got to stop, throw, and then you got to run 60-yard sprint. Is what we need for you. 60-yard sprint down the field, and then you got to tackle somebody.
Lane integrity. Have it.
You can't get out of this lane either. And if you give up a punt block in preseason, you're gone. And if you miss a tackle or get out of your lane and they score a touchdown in preseason, you're gone. You have no idea how important this is. And that is something I think like a lot of young guys don't know.
No.
Like legitimately, I don't think a lot of these young dudes know, but like special teams is where the bottom 30, I would say, of a team, maybe even 35 of a team are going to be like at least have a hand in deciding the future of everybody's football.
Yeah, you want to be as valuable as possible, so you want to be able to get on all four teams. And like you said, if you're not, a starter basically, like one of the top two corners, one of the top two receivers, top three running backs, linemen can kind of get out of that, but even D linemen, pass rushers, linebackers, of course, safeties, but like in those positions, like if you're not legit like the guy going into that season, that's where you're gonna make your hay a lot of times.
And if it's starting to become a more run heavy game, there's probably going to be maybe punting a little bit more. Now, granted, they're choosing not to do punts on a regular basis, which I don't love. But I think if scores, are going to be what they're going to be potentially, which is a little bit more mid-range as opposed to like huge scores, possessions are going to matter. You give up a block punt, a lot of these coaches feel like you are a detriment to the team. Can't have it happen. So I love that Vrabes is in there trying to feel these guys.
Yeah.
I love that he's like trying to feel it. The conversation was about Will Campbell. I think coming out is that he had hands on him, and maybe Vrabes didn't want the film to be released. That's an interesting. I know he just asked like how many coaches are doing that, but I don't think I saw that at the Colts. Did you guys have that? Did Kevin Green do stuff?
KG was not scared to throw his head in there without a pad on for sure. But no, you don't see this very often because like, if you're a player, and even like if I'm a player and I see a coach put a pad on, like That's going to be one of my best strikes ever when I'm getting out on that punch rep right there. Like, I'm going to punch him so hard, and hopefully he knows, like, hey, I'm not going to come back that guy's way.
Hey, that's like you're being evaluated right there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he can literally feel, because Vrabel's been there. I wonder if he thinks, like, as he's gotten older, he's gotten softer, or if the guy's gotten stronger. You know, like, I wonder at what point he was like, I am like 45 now. Maybe I can.
No.
Well, you talked to him at Tahoe.
He doesn't have that. You say he doesn't have
No, I'm sure Vrabel still feels really good about taking anybody on out there.
At Tahoe, you talked to him about, guys on the Titans.
Oh, yeah, about guys he wouldn't fight.
Yes.
And he said it was the D lineman. I forget his name.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Oh,
Him and Derek.
Junkyard
And maybe one other guy. And that's because he's literally felt every single guy. He's gotten in there and been like, yup, can beat him up. Yup, can beat him up. And then he got the Jeffrey Simmons. And it was like, whoa. This guy's got me. All right, this guy's got me. He should, though. He's down a D tackle there. I love that Vrabel does this. I assume Dan Campbell does. Go ahead, Rap. I'm sorry.
No, so I was just thinking, you guys did a great job of explaining the special teams sort of emphasis in New England. Like, if you look at why they were successful, and D-Butt knows this as well as anyone, like, they've always been great basics, fundamentals, great special teams, and, like, the bottom 30 players – for years when they were winning, I would put up against anyone in the league. Like, that was really where they were so good. Like, the fourth linebacker who had to play in, like, December was always great. And if they're getting back to that, and if Vrabel's getting personally involved with making sure that, like, they're undrafted rookies and those guys are all solid, like, that's how this team's going to get better. It really is. Like, that's how you do it.
Good luck to you, Patriots.
Yeah.
You got the quarterback.
I'm ready for the schedule release.
You got the quarterback.
A lot of favorable matchups.
Wednesday night could be a great night for the Patriots. Tomorrow, NFL schedule release eve, where obviously you celebrate by
Putting milk and cookies out.
No, we
Mike
told you
North?
that's
Santa Claus.
Christmas.
Beef and beer.
Beer.
Maybe wings.
Yeah, definitely.
Beer.
You have some
Jerky.
wings.
Oh, wings. Yeah,
See
yeah.
yourself on a Sunday, And if you're having your last meal before finding out what your Sundays, Mondays, Fridays, Wednesdays,
Thursdays.
Saturdays.
Right.
could look like in the future. The NFL is growing. Hey, I said I thought it was going to be a massive year for the NFL. What's upcoming? I think that's the case. I think not only globally, but I think that I think more people are going to fall in love with the style of football that's about to be played by everybody. Now, there's going to be a guy that's not going to be playing football anymore, we learned. Ty has a question for you, Rap.
Yeah, Rap, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but how did we get to this point with Derek Carr? Were the Saints aware that retirement might be a possibility? What does that do for their cap? What did he forfeit? What do they have to do? And then also, does that mean that Tyler Shough has the inside track at being the starting quarterback this year?
So the Saints knew there was a possibility that Derek Carr wouldn't play in 2025. Like, as he was dealing with the shoulder injuries, he kind of got on this offseason. He tried to rehab. He took a shot, tried to get to a point where he could function, and it became pretty clear that without surgery, which he now need, which he would need, without surgery, he was not going to be 100%, was not going to be able to play. What we didn't know, and what the Saints probably only learned recently, was that he was willing to not just work with them, but really like gave up a lot. Like retirement, look, best case option, he played. That's not going to happen. Second best option is he retires and he gave up $30 million that were previously guaranteed to him. Like he gave it up. He takes his $10 million in a roster bonus and he gives up 30. That means nothing this year, but next year his cap hit drops by 30 million. That kind of gets them back toward more like a regular salary cap team, I guess, and does them like a huge solid. So that, like, if you want to be like, compromise, like that's a compromise. And that, I thought Derek Carr didn't need to do that. I'm not sure a lot of people would have done that. I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, I would say it gives Tyler Shough the kind of the inside track. He's got to prove it. But he was considered to be the most NFL ready starter in the group. We'll see now. He's got a good opportunity.
It doesn't make sense why he wouldn't be the first overall pick, but nonetheless, people have their reasons for what they...
Yeah, what group? The group in New Orleans or this draft class?
You mean not
can't
Cam
be
Ward?
Can't be New Orleans.
Yeah,
they got Jake Hayner, and we know what he's about.
Yeah, we do appreciate the hell out of that man's moxie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we think he is moxie at 100 all the time.
Oh my God, I cannot.
He's that dude.
What are you talking about?
Can you not?
Rattler. Dog.
Can you not?
And Shough.
Yeah.
Or not another picture.
Shough
Any
is.
quarterback.
We didn't create this. I think we pulled this.
There's no way you
what's wrong
take
with
that
that?
picture
What's
and
wrong?
goes, print it.
He did.
He took multiple.
Guys.
There's a
He's
lot.
posing.
This dude's a dog, bro. Hey, this guy does not care how you feel about this entire thing. By the way, he's a dog. Now, with that being said, Shough is what 20? He's like 26 or something.
Yeah,
25?
26.
I don't think that matters. Like I think a lot of people hold that against like a rookie coming in. If you could play your 10 years, wouldn't that be a successful first round pick?
Yeah.
If you were able to do that, I think that would be a big deal. So I'm happy for it. Good luck to him. But that leads to a conversation that's happening in Cleveland pretty loud. What were you going to say?
No, I just want to know. 'Cause we always talk about with the draft for outliers. Like, has that happened? The guy that jumps to my mind is Browns, Brandon Wheaton, and I feel like there's another one too. But has there been like an older guy, Chris Winkie, older guy that came in and actually been successful?
I don't know. That's a great
I
question.
mean, wasn't Penix 20? I just looked up. Shuck's 25. It'll be 26 in September. Wasn't like Penix 25 last year too? Like,
24. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
We hope.
no, I just mean like in general.
Yeah, but that is a good question. Like, how many times in the past have we? Whedon, I think, would be the one. And in my head, and I'm saying he played a lot of great football. Shout out to Whedon. Played a lot of great football. Was it the flag? There was something.
Yeah,
that
he
happened.
got stuck underneath.
That was like
it.
first game.
Yeah, he got stuck underneath. He got caught.
And then the internet put his age
Yep.
on the.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, like the internet.
National anthem?
Yeah, well, it was before, as the flag was being run out. He was somewhere.
He didn't know how to get out and just got caught underneath it.
Yeah.
And the internet did what the internet does, and it was not fair, but it happened, But I remember them putting his age, I think, on that video, and me being like, "Good luck out there, Whedon. Good luck out there."
Jeff Garcia was 29.
When he went in,
That's a good one.
he was in the CFL, right? Was he a CFL guy?
Serve?
This says Warren Moon was 28.
Okay, so we should probably assume any CFL guy, probably.
Yeah.
a
He was
little bit.
like was Warren Moon USFL?
Probably. I
Was
don't
it that era?
How old was Kurt?
Yeah, Kurt Warner,
not on the list.
Yeah, that's a good one.
because he was with the Iowa Barnstormers.
That's right.
He was undrafted.
He was practicing out in cornfield.
He was.
I watched that story. It was an underdog story.
It was. Through and through.
True.
Tearjerker.
I cried.
Kurt was 27.
They're making another
Warner
one.
was 27? Okay, so there
That's a
hasn't
good
been
one.
plenty. Okay, good luck out there, Shough.
Hell yeah.
But that does lead to a conversation that's currently happening in Cleveland. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, Ian, what are you hearing about the, OTAs or
Oh,
minicamp?
no.
whatever they call it?
I'm sorry. I'm seeing the video.
What?
I'm seeing the video of Whedon right now. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
the video. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
no.
Shit.
Oh, no.
That was, yeah. And then I was trying to keep the flag up, obviously, to show respect. which is
No
smart.
pocket
Oh, God.
awareness.
Is he trying to run to the other side?
I think he's trying to get out. Yeah. And
I would
then-
just
Why?
lay underneath it.
Why did he go the other way?
I don't know. I think he had somebody behind him. He felt the pressure. He was just reading it. He was trying to
Exactly.
survive another step. I don't think he was thinking about everything they got on the other side. You all right? You all right? Yeah, I
Oh,
remember.
no.
Okay, I'm
So,
sorry. Go.
you know that they saw that and they go, oh God, like he just awareness, like know they must have been
What
like,
do you
All
mean?
right,
He loves
crap.
America.
Let's
I'm just
hey, shout out to Whedon. We appreciate you, Whedon. Whedon was trying to keep the
Brando.
flag off the
Yeah,
ground.
exactly.
Trying to keep the flag off the ground. It's very nice of him. Yeah, he was being the base of a table down there. We are in since it's in Cleveland. Cleveland is the basis of the OTA conversation basically right now, which I think everybody kind of understood, especially with this rookie class. AJ has a question for you.
Yeah, Ian, what are you hearing from your sources out of Cleveland? I know Mason Graham is throwing up early on their OTA. Shedeur looks like he's throwing some dimes. I know other media members are trying to height shame possible rookie quarterbacks on the roster there. Like, what are you hearing out of this first weekend?
Messed up.
height shaming, not good,
Yeah.
guys.
That's not cool, dude.
Cool.
It's messed up.
Not good.
That's not cool, man.
Like we all know.
Yeah, I mean that's something. I don't know if you guys. I feel that. I feel that, and I'm not okay with that.
What do you feel?
Okay, so
What, the
Just
puking
the
at
hype.
practice?
no, just the height shaming. Anyway,
That guy.
Cleveland, yes.
What a loser.
I expected to be the center of OTAs. I expected to be the center of training camp. Like, remember this really does. I don't know how it's going to turn out, and I hope better because I really do think Shedeur could have an excellent future in the NFL. But it does remind me hype-wise of the Manziel years where, like, cameras were at Brown's training camp every day. And, like, it's not quite like that because I think Shedeur and the Browns have tried to take the temperature down a bunch. And he, like, he's got kind of a deflecting way, at least in the interviews. Like someone asked him, like, would you buy the number? He's like, buy the number 2. He's like, do you see my signing bonus? It's like there's been some good sort of deflecting, but like that's going to be the story. It's how does Shedeur look every time he enters a preseason game? How does it look? Like this is part of the reason why there are teams who could have used an upgraded backup quarterback or could have sort of bought this lottery ticket and didn't because they don't want to deal with that. The Browns are going to deal with it. But if he's as good as some people think he could be, they're going to get the rewards, and they're going to benefit for 10 years if he's the franchise starter. They hope he is.
If you find your franchise quarterback, nothing else matters. I think that has been proven.
Of course, who cares about anything else?
Exactly. That's been proven time and time again. I did appreciate how Stefanski handled why is Dylan Gabriel getting one's snaps instead of Shedeur, and Dylan Gabriel was drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders. I appreciate how Stefanski answered that question, though, because he didn't just say Dylan Gabriel was drafted higher. He talked about, like, none of these snaps matter. Right now, we're just trying to get looks. He, like, deflected on everything. So I think Stefanski understands the situation because thinking and talking about from Dylan Gabriel's perspective is such an interesting one because he hasn't even really been heard from, except for with what happens with our friend here, So it's like, I don't know if Dylan Gabriel likes that. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel doesn't care. Could be a good thing because he doesn't have to deal with literally anything. He's a quarterback that was drafted in the 3rd round to a team that doesn't have a starting quarterback, really. The biggest quarterback problem in the NFL, I think a lot of people would say, would be the Cleveland Browns because they're paying the most in the history of the NFL for a quarterback that would not be their quarterback, and that's going to continue for a couple years. They bring Joe Flacco back on a very small deal, $4 million or something like that, and everybody's assuming he's their starter, which I assume he will be as well with Stefanski's offense. But Dylan Gabriel probably thinks 3rd-round pick, I could potentially become a franchise quarterback here. And nobody is talking about that. That has not even been a conversation at all.
He's kind of been overlooked his whole run outside of draft. I know it surprised me that he went in the 3rd round and he went where he went amongst the quarterbacks, but he's kind of been overlooked. He went to Oklahoma and went to Oregon and was still never really put on the same pedestal as those other guys, in my opinion. But I would think it would be a great spot. And I think he was asked the question, too, something about Shedeur and the reps or the questions, and he basically told the reporter, like, I think that question is divisive in itself. So he seems like he's ready for this moment as well. We always talk about it doesn't matter, how you get in there or when you get in there, just take advantage of your opportunity and your reps. And it seems like him and Shedeur have kind of been handling everything perfectly up to this point.
I appreciate the hell out of you, Rapoport. The Shamar Stewart conversation, huge. The Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel conversation, huge. Ashton Genty's looking fast.
Shuck and Haney are now going to bang.
Vrabel punching.
They're saying
people.
Will Howard's the greatest quarterback they've ever seen.
Will Howard crush it
I
on.
didn't see that report.
What?
I did see that about Milrow, though.
You didn't see that?
Not yet. No, I did see some.
Well, I guess
Saw
you
that about Milrow.
You don't look at Caboli's tweets then?
Well, I saw him talking about Pickens.
Yeah.
I saw that tweet.
Yeah, that's a big deal. We didn't touch.
What was that?
What's going on with George
What was
Pickens? Everybody's happy now?
What was the tweet you guys talking about?
And you put an IG story up.
That one was AI.
Yeah, I got him.
Oh no.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that was not George. Yeah, well, at least he said it was AI.
I was talking about Cabal.
Caboli tweeted that everyone's the Steelers are happy.
Okay, yeah.
George is
That's
happy.
what I saw.
Thank God. Saw it briefly, quickly, kept it moving. I think everybody's happy with this.
Yeah, it was a win-win.
I think so.
I think so too. Like, I think the Steelers believe in the room. Now, I would expect them to add someone, like some receiver. There's a couple veterans who are pretty good still. Amari's still out there, right? Keenan Allen's still out there. DJ Chark. So, like, they could add someone. And then, if I don't know if you guys know this, there's a quarterback who the Steelers may or may not get who does have some friends that he likes who are still good receivers.
Nah.
Possible
Brad Johnson.
that yes, that is his name. Possible they might bring in a friend of Aaron just to sort of ease familiarity. So, like, I think the Steelers will be fine, but
Jordy?
Lazard.
I saw Jordy at the draft. Looks like he could still do it.
Definitely. That guy's ranching right now. He's literally wrestling steers.
Is that what he's doing
Light
in
ranch?
Kansas or something?
Not light ranch. He's doing some heavy ass
heavy.
ranch.
Real farmer.
Full.
Speaking of light ranching, Parker McCollum has a new song called Big Sky. Very good.
Okay.
Very good song.
That guy can sing.
How handsome is he, too? Isn't he ridiculously handsome?
I didn't really notice that, but the singing, I really.
Of course, whenever you're that good looking as you, how could you notice anybody else? We appreciate the hell out of you, man. Have a great day.
All right, take care, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rapoport.
Yeah,